Being the church is about being connected, listening to one another, and accepting each other like sisters and brothers.
Let's be the church together.
I believe that the primary role of the church is to strengthen one another so that we can go out into the world and share the love of God with one another and just be a strong community of Christ-centered believers and to help and guide one another along the path of our own faith journeys.
The primary role of the church is to bring the Word of God to everyone.
I think church is a place where you can find support when you're down and find your happiness when you're up.
Spreading the word of the Lord by activities and around the community.
I believe the primary role of the church is just a place to go and worship and be able to grow in your faith.
To help people grow their faith, to help them become deeper in their relationship with Jesus, and then by using our gifts that we are learning by discovering what Jesus has us be to go out and serve the community.
It's a way to help others in mission work and help food pantry, that type of thing. It's just an outreach. Educate them in the Bible, to educate them in community, to educate them in all aspects of life in general.
To build faith and to build community is the key to church from the way I see it. I kind of see belonging to a church, well, at least membership, I guess I should say it that way, as the difference between living together and getting married. Because you can attend church, but it's commonplace. You can walk away anytime you want to. But when you commit to something, that's the lifelong duration. You're putting your heart and soul into it. And I think that's what the church is designed to do.
When you actually belong, when I got confirmed, I just felt wow, this is my church, these are my people, this is the place where I'm supposed to be.
I have friends that don't necessarily belong to a church, but they still share the same belief as I do. They're not really established in the church. They don't feel as welcomed as someone like me who's been at this church since I was born, and they just don't feel as welcome. I wouldn't say people need to be members, but just as long as you have that belief in God and have something to believe in as far as faith, and if you attend church once in a while or however often you do, that's good enough, I think.
Yeah, it takes time to make friends with God, with others, and so the more you can be around someone, it just develops, it turns into a wonderful relationship. And I think that is important. That's very important to me, and I'm raising our children in that same way, to find friends, have all friends from all sorts of areas in your life, but to find friends in a church setting is very important, so you can share those spiritual things with them.
You should belong to a church for more reasons than just have somewhere to be taken when you pass on in this world.
I believe that you can develop your faith by yourself, but it is also very helpful to be a member of a church and in this community so that you have other people who are like-minded in belief and goals, and ultimately to help you along your faith journey.
I think it is important to actually be a member.
So I think that when you are a member, you're more involved, you're more willing to give up your time and your talents.
Yeah, if you're just coming every so often, you aren't truly getting the full effect of what being involved in a church can offer you.
It's good to belong to church, but if you can find a way to worship, then you can do that.
I can hear my grandpa inside my voice saying, you need to be a member. Wherever you are, you need to be a member of your congregation. And I agree with him. I think that it's important to feel that sense of belonging and that sense of commitment to a congregation, to a church.
After going through confirmation, it kind of helped me realize that, wow, I do believe in the same thing that Lutherans believe in. This whole entire church is a family, and I think that's what sets it apart.
Well, I chose the Lutheran Church because I married a Lutheran.
I grew up Methodist, but when we got married, we just chose the route of the Lutheran Church. We still put an emphasis on the education of our youth, and we still make them go through 3 years of education before they're confirmed, and that is very important to me. We've got 4 kids, and they all went through it, and they come away knowing what their church is based off of.
The Lutheran Church, I think, is kind of the best combination of traditional and contemporary. It's kind of the best middle ground, I believe. We all support one another no matter what we've gone through, and just to have a community where we all love and respect one another no matter what is the most important part, I think. And I really don't think that I would be the person that I am now, and I wouldn't grow into the adult that I will be if I didn't have this strong foundation in this church and centered on Christ.
Okay, I was born in the Lutheran Church. My husband and I both were actually baptized, confirmed, and married in the same Lutheran church. And it's just always been important for us to continue to be Lutheran. There are obviously differences between denominations, but I feel like the most important thing about a Lutheran is that we are accepting of anyone, no matter where they are on their faith journey. And that's part of the reason that I am Lutheran, because I do feel like anyone can come to church and anyone can feel, hopefully, can feel welcome in the church. That's my hope.
Guess I was born into the Lutheran Church. My folks were Lutherans. I've continued on to be a Lutheran all my life. Guess that's the only reason that I'm a Lutheran.
There was not a time where I had to choose to be Lutheran. I married someone who was not involved in the church, and he was willing, because I was born and raised here, my parents go here, he was willing to come into the Emmanuel Lutheran, knowing that this is just kind of part of who I am.
I think being Lutheran is profoundly different. We come back to the foundation that Christ established through the disciples. As long as we remember those roots, and this is the basic premise, this is what we were hopefully divinely inspired to do. I would say one of the most important aspects of church is being able to build community. I think of it in terms of a more universal community, because we're supposed to be outreaching to everyone and building a community that is worldwide. If we can do that instead of just saying that, that'll make a huge impact on the entire world, and we see it happen. We just need to grow it.
Spread the word of the Lord. And so I feel it's very important that people come to worship regularly so that they hear that word and that they can go out and share that word with others.
Probably the most important aspect of it to me is the fact of the ministry bringing across the word of the Lord in a manner that most of us can understand. The Bible, and that is what they should be preaching.
Everybody cares about one another, and the sense of community, I think, is one of the most important things.
I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're a church together. I could keep going, but I won't. It's the people, absolutely, the people that make up the church. Because it goes back to connections and being able to connect to other people about your faith.